Baby girl's engaged. So is we gonna do life together, or is we gonna do life? Cause baby, ain't no makeup, ain't no setup. It ain't none of that. Ain't none of that happening. I wanted to come chat really quickly because I felt something and I was really quick to try to like brush it away and be like, I don't feel it, try to suppress it. I started scrolling Instagram, trying to distract myself. I did take a quick moment to try to offer it up to God, to be like, yo, Lord, this is what I'm feeling. This is what's going on. It's New Year's Eve. It is December 31st, 2024. I'm simultaneously happy and filled with joy, while also being kind of like, my neck and my back. I don't know why, but well, I do know why. Single thing is really kind of messing me up right now. I'm all or nothing. I'm all or nothing. I'm a very black and white person when it comes to the concept of getting married and marriage. I either believe that God is gonna fully do it, He gonna fully do it, or He's not gonna do nothing at all. And I haven't mastered being in the in-between of being like, He wants it for you, He's just developing you, and it takes time to get from point A to point B. And I'm trying to make my mind resonate with that. I did the series on Instagram, the 12 Days of Christmas, giving God the gift of our sacrifice. And the gift I was sacrificing was two things. One, it was the concept that I would get married. I was given the concept that I would get married because I automatically assumed that it was going to happen just because I wanted it, and I felt like that was a desire that God placed in my heart. So I was just like, yeah, I'm getting married, clearly, like duh. And then after year after year after year of it not happening, and I kept ending the year being frustrated that it didn't happen, I had to really be like, maybe it's not God's will for me to get married, and still having faith that it's God's will for me to get married, and not doubting that He doesn't want it for me, but open to His will being either or. Either He wants me to get married or He don't. Now, something in my gut, in my like heart of hearts, knows that He wants me to get married, but that hope is just so scary. And I think right now I might be in that position of being like the little kid that's scared of getting disappointed again and constantly kind of let down. So I just kind of stopped believing in my parent, and the parent being God in this instance. I don't want to do that. I just watched Jalen Face Over Matter video, and I'm looking at the comments because I see a man in the background. Mind you, I've been watching on and off, but I haven't been like super dedicated. And I see his man in the background. I go to the comments being like, girl, who is this man? Thinking like, is anybody else gonna pick up it's a man in the background? Mind you, she done announced she had a whole boyfriend and everything, and I just been out the loop. And I'm like, okay, so they talking about, oh, they did it. And I seen the comments say, oh, ever since I saw your post, I ran over here. And I was like, post? What post? Let me see. So I went to her Instagram, and baby girl's engaged, and I'm just so happy. And it makes me emotional because I just value the testimony, her testimony so much. Because all year, she's been saying, I serve a God of 1159. I serve an 1159 God. She's been holding on to that faith and holding on to that faith. And I could see in some of her videos where she's been holding on to the same dissonance I'm trying to grab onto. Dissonance is saying, it's not looking how I wanted it to look, but I trust God. And when I saw that she posted in there, she was like, hold on, let me clock in for work. Hold on a minute. Okay. When I saw that she said God did it right before the end of the year, I said, and I'm getting emotional now because I'm like, that's so good. And it's so funny moment. I'm sitting here clapping my hands and going, woo, woo. And I'm clapping and I'm realizing the echo sound. It probably sounds like somebody think I'm doing something else with all the woos and all of that. But it's a Holy Ghost party up over here, baby. This ain't nothing but a praise. I was choked up, and I'm still, I guess, visibly choked up because I'm like, we really do serve a God of 1159. Like, when He wants to do it, He will do it. And I've been watching or listening to Atomic Habits, and one of the things that really clicked for me is the fact that you just keep going, little incremental things. It may not seem that big, But when it crack, it crack. When it happens, it happens. When it pop, it pops. And it's not because of one big thing you did, but it's because of all of the small things you did. I'm trying to stay dedicated to that mindset in my social media. I'm staying committed to doing the small things. I posted a post yesterday, got 6 likes. And I thought it was the cutest thing. I'm gonna insert it. I thought it was so freaking cute. And it got 6 likes. And I posted 3 times yesterday because I was like, let me get this content out, because I'm not committed to the likes. I'm not committed to the follows, even though the likes is nice. The comments is nice. The follows are nice. But I'm committed to getting it out, because that's what I said I was going to do. That's what I said to God I was going to do. And the same case in this. I'm committed to God, regardless of what that looks like. Right now, that looks like me single. But I think what I've been doing is trying to trick my mind into thinking I'm okay here. I still really want it. I'm trying to give God a way out of doing what he said he would. I'm treating God like an earthly parent instead of a heavenly father. Instead of treating God like a God that has a point A and a point B, that's the Alpha and the Omega, I'm treating him like a God that just kind of changed his mind, like a human, like a mortal, you know? I just wanted to talk to y'all about this because just like she said in her proposal, or in her announcement, in her proposal announcement, that she serves an 1159 God. I serve an 1159 God. And what God has done in this 11th hour was renew my hope. But he's renewed it in a way that I needed him to renew it. I'm a fan of falling apart. I'm such a fan of falling apart, because I feel like to be a Christian is to fall apart. I feel like to be a Christian, you gotta fall apart. There's no way you can do this thing without falling apart. I wrote in my book that we act as if Christianity is just this super easy thing where you just walk in and it's beautiful and it's just like the chapel lights come on real bright and angels is going, oh, even though, you know, it is a Holy Ghost party at your salvation, you know. But in reality, salvation is like taking the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen, like seeing the most beautiful stained glass window you've ever seen. You just walk into the chapel and you look at it and you go, wow, this is so beautiful. And God is like, it is beautiful, isn't it? Let's make it what I want it to be. Take a mallet and you just break it and bust and everything is broken. And you look at this and it's just pieces everywhere. And to our human eyes, we're like, why would you destroy this thing? And God is like, because it's the material I need, but it's not the goal I made it for. I needed this material. I needed this fabric. I needed this glass. I needed this material. That's what I wanted to be made of, but it ain't made up in the way I wanted to make it up. So that's why I said I'm a huge fan of falling apart. God has done me such a good service by allowing me to fall apart time after time after time, mindset after mindset, thought after thought. And I think that in 2024, I needed my mindset to fall apart. Telling y'all my business, I had this mindset that everything about me was just good for a man. I grew up under the most wonderful couple that I've ever seen in the world. My grandma and my papa. They're the most perfect people to me in this world. And they're only perfect because they have the fruits of the Spirit, because God has lived through them. God funneled his love through them. I just watched them when I was growing up, and I would see how my grandma would care for him, and I would see how my papa would care for her. I saw how the things that my grandmother naturally had poured into my papa, and how the things my papa and who he naturally was poured into my grandma. It literally seemed like a body getting its rib back. Like it just seemed like they just fit and it made sense. So I've seen with my own eyes as a child, a person being made for a person and how that panned out. So with my mind as a child, I started to think, oh, I'm made for this. This is for my husband. This is for my husband. So I would start to pick apart pieces of my personality and be like, oh, I love music. My husband must be going to be doing music because he going to benefit from that. Oh, I'm good and talented at editing, so my husband must going to be an artist because I can help him with this. Oh, I'm good at this, so my husband instead of just realizing some of these things God made for you. Like my grandma is a wonderful nurturer, and that was wonderful for us. But she was also a teacher, and she cared for children, and she spread the love of God through teaching. So it could be multifaceted. My husband could be an artist, but also that could also just be my escape. That could be for me. That could be how I relate to other people. That could be for the kingdom. Everything isn't about my man. I moved into this wonderful apartment, and I can't wait to tell y'all the story about this. I can't wait to tell y'all the story, because when I tell y'all, God did his big one. He did his big one. But I moved into this apartment. But the first thought I had, because now I'm in a master bedroom, this is the first time I've ever had 2 bathrooms. We all have our own room. Kalia has her own room in a loft upstairs, period. I said upstairs. Yes, I said upstairs. Liam has his own room. They have their own bathroom. It's one bathroom, but the guest bathroom. And then I have my bathroom. My bathroom has 2 sinks. And I was like, oh, I must be finally about to get my husband because I got 2 sinks. Everything ain't about a man. Everything is not about a man. And that is as recent as July that I had this mindset. And God had to be like, I'm about to eat that up. I'm about to eat it up. Because every single thing had to be about this man and not about how God is going to live my life. And I've wanted so much just to be a wife. I told y'all, ever since I was a kid, when somebody would ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I was like, I want to be a housewife. Once more, looking at my grandparents' relationship. But I was like, I want to be a housewife. That's it. I just want to be married with barefoot and pregnant, raise the house, bring up the house. That's all I want. And a former friend of mine made a point of being like, now, Beyonce loved Jay-Z down. And she loved them 11 children down. That's Beyonce's words, not my words. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? What if Beyonce was just like, I just want to be a wife? And I'm not saying I'm Beyonce, but get the metaphor. What if Beyonce was just like, I just want to be Jay-Z's wife? Think of all of the art that we would be robbed of because she wants to be a dedicated wife. Nothing wrong with being a dedicated wife. Jackie Hill Perry. What if Jackie Hill Perry was just like, yeah, I love all of that, but I just want to be Preston's wife, which is very valuable. What if she said, I just want to be a mom, which is very valuable, but we would be robbed of everything else that she is, everything else that God created her for. And I was so busy trying to settle in my mind that all I want is this. And God is like, but I made you for this. And you can fit this in here. Not I, but he can fit this in here. And they can work together. But I'm so focused on just this that I'm trying to ignore this. And if I'm honest, I'm trying to do this so I could hurry up and get this. I'm trying to check off God's boxes like, okay, I wrote the book. Okay, I wrote that book. Okay, I did this. Okay, I joined the ministry. Okay, I did that. Okay, I got friends. Okay, I took the therapy. Okay, I did that. Now, where's my man? Instead of really focusing on this walk and being like, you created me for a lot. Let's do that. And I think that's where the breakdown came. And I had to God had to break me down too. And I think that what the enemy meant for bad, the Lord used for good. I'm not saying that necessarily I think that this was a matter of pruning, but also a matter of the Lord letting the enemy kind of play with my mind a little bit, letting me fall apart a little bit, letting me break down a little bit, because he knew within his sovereign will that he was going to build me back up, that he was going to restore my hope in the 11th hour. I believe that I'm going to get married. A part of me is fearful that I won't. Did you see when I said I'm going to get married, my eyes kind of shifted a little bit like, ooh, do I? Because as soon as I said that, I felt something in my head say, no, you don't. But I believe the Lord is kind. I believe the Lord is good, and I believe the Lord is sovereign. Even when I don't believe that I'm going to get married, I believe that. And I believe that if it's God's will, he will bless me with a phenomenal husband. And I believe that if it's God's will, I will have that baby that I bought that outfit for in faith. And I'm excited. But I'm also doing the work. So yeah. I'm grateful for Jalen and Sunny's engagement, period. The Lord did it for the girls, for both the girls. Yeah. I'm also grateful for the faith and the hope that it renewed in me. And I think that also goes to speak to God's sovereign will and how God is playing chess and not checkers, and how he could bless one person here and bless one person there, and it blesses the whole lot of it. Like, that sent me into a whole moment of worship. And if I'm being transparent, I realized I haven't worshiped God in a long time. Like, I worship at Acts 2:42, but I haven't just sat in my space and just worshiped. And I think for the first time something broke in me, and I was able to worship. So I thank you for your will, and I thank you. I'm gonna share this last thing and I'm gonna be gone. But one of my favorite parts in the Bible is when Paul is writing. Paul is going through something, right? And one of his friends, I'm butchering this, but Paul is going through something. And one of his friends, he sent out to go do another mission. And that friend was supposed to come back. And when that friend didn't come back, in the letter, Paul is like, man, the friend didn't come back. I'm stressed, And then they end up going into like captivity, or they go into this situation where they're kind of isolated, and then it gets worse, and they're starting to get tormented, and all these things are happening, right? And then it said in the Bible, it said the Lord was kind and brought back that friend. Now, the Lord could have brought that friend back earlier when Paul first stressed out about it. Whew. Sorry. No, I'm not. The Lord could have brought that friend when Paul first stressed out about it. When he first started to get anxiety about his friend missing. When he first noticed that something was wrong. The Lord could have brought his friend back right then and there. But the Lord, in his wisdom and in his goodness, waited until he knew that his friend returning would do more than just be his friend returning. He waited until his friend returning restored hope in a desperate situation. They were filled with despair. And the Lord said, yeah, I could send that friend now, but it's going to come a point in time when y'all going to need that friend. At this point, y'all just want them. And it would be nice if your friend came, because then you would have that question answered. That thing would be solved in your brain. You would be like, oh, I could check this. Whip it. But you're like, oh, I could just check this off as something that's done. I could just relieve myself of the anxiety. But God said there's a pit coming. And when that pit comes, I'm going to allow your friend to come then. Because I always planned on your friend coming. But I needed to do more than just be your friend coming. I needed to be more than just relieving your anxiety. I needed to be more than just checking off a box on your to-do list. It's going to relieve you of stress. It's going to give you hope. That's going to give you hope. And God's timing in Jalen's life about her engagement was 100% about Jalen. But God also 100% thought about me. And then he also 100% thought about you. Because he's that omniscient. And he's that wonderful. And he's that good. And who wouldn't serve a God like that? And I'm just glad. I'm glad and I'm grateful. And yeah, it's going to be more videos like this, because this is all I got for you girls right now. We can talk. I'm not going to super edit this. We're going to talk and we're going to do life. And that's it. But I love you and Happy New Year. Yeah. Bye.